Hello everyone, I'm Rekha from the most happening city Bengaluru. Here I'm going to discuss some of the facts about gender disparity that is so widely prevalent in almost all the countries of the world, irrespective of the level of development. Recently, women across Europe, especially from Spain and France, gathered in huge numbers protesting against gender violence. And thousands of women from Switzerland, even this is one of the most developed nations of the world, took to streets demanding equal pay. According to a recent report by the International Labour Organization, the global gender wage gap is around 18 to 22%, and in India it is somewhere around 32%. These gaps are not limited to just one part of our lives, and it is experienced in almost all the walks of our lives, and women often feel that they are being used. Here I want to suggest some ways and means and a list of do's and don'ts that would in a long run reduce these gaps by changing the fundamentally flawed way of looking at women. I don't know whether I'm correct or not, or I'm not even sure whether I should be sharing it with you people, but still I'm going ahead because some people may like it and follow it as well. After independence, due to commendable efforts by our government, women are now more educated, more financially independent. They have found representation in almost all the sectors of economy. The change is really huge. But still we have a long way to go because some of the disgusting practices like female infanticide, preference for a male child, domestic violence are continuing unabated. And you hardly find girls playing out in the public grounds. And through 73rd Constitutional Amendment in 1992, our government with an intention of empowering women right from the grassroots level, provided reservation in the Panchayati Raj institutions. But it's so disheartening that even after 28 long years of this act being passed, most of the political decisions are taken by the husbands of these elected women. And women continue to take the approval of their husbands for most of the things they do after getting married. Maybe if they want to go out and work, or if they want to continue their studies, or for some of the small things like if they want to open a bank account, or if they want to travel alone, or the kind of dresses they're going to wear, for everything. And safe public space is still a distant dream. And crimes against women are not at all treated as issues, and the worst thing is it gets cultural approval. Women continue to live in a very suffocating environment, and to bring them out of this, we need to think out of box and beyond protectionist measures, because women need freedom to be on their own and not protection. For this, we need to change the focus on bringing about a change in the attitude that is so deeply imbibed in our culture that supports, protects, and preserves patriarchy in varied avatars. As this bothers only women, it is the duty and responsibility of every female to take on the reins and lead the battle to free herself, or at least the coming generations, from the clutches of male domination. In my opinion, this effort should start from everybody's house. So I'm requesting all the ladies, please engage your sons in the housework from a very young age. This is very important because this is the point at which the seeds of disparities are sown. According to a report by the UNICEF, the early disparities which are connected to the housework will ultimately decide what kind of work women are going to do and how little their efforts are valued. Due to this, little girls, get stuck at home and they start feeling they start developing a very low self-esteem, and the boys start looking down upon females, and they start developing a very strong ego, and they brand housework as typically the work of girls. This ego needs to be nipped off there itself, otherwise they'll grow up to behave like typical men. This housework becomes a major hurdle throughout the life of a girl, preventing her from achieving anything substantial. And the men are absolutely free. So ladies, this may sound silly, but it's really not a joke, because this leads to all the other kinds of disparities at a later stage in life. So please engage your boys in the housework. Introduce them to the kitchen. Let them get familiar with the housework. Teach them to respect women and the work that they do. Teach them to behave properly with the girls. Teach them to respect their feelings and freedom. And the most important thing is, you should keep telling them that they are in no way superior to girls, so that this point should get deeply driven into their psychology. And make them understand that how a woman spends her whole life doing this thankless, priceless job that neither has a value nor status. It does not have a proper definition, no respect, no job chart, and it does not find a place anywhere in the job market. And how would a role like mothering be so insignificant? It is so painful to hear that females are denied of job opportunities and even higher positions just because they are likely to go on maternity leave and they have more of family responsibilities. How can taking care and nurturing the next generation be so unimportant to the job market? It's really ridiculous, and I just don't understand. Please remember, if women had refused or even neglected these mothering, nursing roles, human species would be critically endangered by now and economies would come crashing down. 50% of the population is doing this their whole life, and it just goes unnoticed. So ladies, it's your duty to bring it to their notice so that it gets some respect and value. And the second most important thing is, I've seen women giving their husbands and their sons unlimited and unrestricted freedom, but they restrict their daughters to the core. Why? Why the hell do women feel that men can do anything and get away with it? Why the hell do even women let men do anything and get away with it? Because in my opinion, women have an underlying defect which is so deep in the way they perceive themselves. They undervalue themselves, they undervalue their strengths and capabilities, they undervalue the kind of work they do at home, they undervalue the kind of contribution they are making to the society and to the economy, and also their importance in a man's life. And all this is because we've been placing so much of importance on the work outside the house which is paid, and also on the macro power or the brute strength that's been so destructive and violent. And remember, all the battles throughout the history have been solely fought to satisfy the male ego and nothing else. And the irony is, Indian women still take pride in giving birth to a male child. We have terribly failed to understand that society has used the concepts of Pati Parameshwar, Sati Savitri, and they've glorified the sacrificing nature of women. And all this have been used as powerful tools to enslave women in the name of God and in the name of culture. We were made to believe that the only purpose of our existence is to get married, to give birth to a male child, faithfully serve our husbands, and to die a Sumangali. And we never showed the guts of asking why only Pati Parameshwar and why not Patni Parameshwari. And so many cultural rules are made, rather tailor-made for the convenience of men without involving women, and we were just made to follow it blindly without questioning. We were very beautifully, trapped in a cage called culture. That is why even to this day, a survey was made recently, maybe just 3 or 4 years back, and more than half of the women surveyed feel that their husbands have the right to beat them. And most of the application forms will not have a column either for mother's name or wife's name. This is the state of mind we are still living with. And women are often assessed on the basis of how much they can sacrifice and how selfless they are. And if we are a bit straightforward or a bit expressive, we are easily judged and given a character certificate. And by doing this, the society has ensured that we always remained submissive, timid, so that they could keep us at bay. And we are made to feel very guilty for not performing our mothering roles properly. So ladies, you have a tremendous ability to think. Please think rationally. Do not go by these cultural and societal sentiments. Kick off your low self-esteem. Change the way you look at yourself. Stop restricting and pitying yourself. Start respecting yourself and give yourself that little freedom that you always wanted to. Please understand, women are actually a very strong army, very well equipped with their own kind of armory. We come with our own strengths, capabilities, intelligence, and efficiency. So why fly a fighter jet to prove our mettle? We have our own set of skills. So please stop identifying yourself as Mrs. So-and-so. You have an identity of your own. You have a name, use it. And treat your daughters on par with your sons. Please don't deny them of childhood experiences and other opportunities just because they are girls. Make them physically and mentally strong, brave, courageous, confident, and assertive. Let them be adventurous and let them explore the world. Please stop grooming your daughters to be ideal, obedient wives. Groom your sons to be good, understanding husbands instead. You have to prepare your girls to face the men head on. There's no other way. It's high time we decided to stop living in a man's world. Please do not hesitate to share the domestic work with the male members of the family. And please stop showing that extra respect that we in Indian families tend to show to men. And respect other women also equally. And please do not feel guilty if you're not a perfect mother, because kids need a happy mother and not a perfect one. And if you come across an application form that do not have a column for either mother's name or wife's name, please bring it to the notice of the competent authority. Please understand, government can make only rules. It can give punishments, but it cannot bring attitudinal change. All these days, we have concentrated only on pushing our girls outside, that is making them more educated, more financially independent. But we have not simultaneously concentrated on bringing our boys inside the house, inside the kitchen, and also to get adjusted to these changes. So, by making a conscious effort, by bringing in these attitudinal and behavioral changes within the family, gradually we can reduce these gaps. At the administrative level, I would like to humbly and sincerely request the Honorable Union Minister for Women and Child Development to come up with a national gender equality mission to implement all the gender related issues by roping in all the related departments and also committed NGOs. I would also like to request the government to make curriculum related to gender equality and sensitivity mandatory at all the levels of education, and also at the training sessions and also during the workshops held for government servants and also corporate employees. And it's also very important to make self-defense training mandatory for all the girls at all the levels of education, because much of the thought process of a girl revolves around protecting her body and also to escape from the male gaze, and with this her ability for creative thinking and living drastically reduces. Her mobility gets highly restricted, her activities are getting curtailed, girls are taken off from the schools if the schools are very far, and also even small girls are not allowed to play outside. Her whole life is becoming miserable and terrible by just this one aspect. Protecting and restricting is not the answer, and she has to be taught to protect herself. And one more thing needs to be highlighted is all these advertisements and these unending TV serials, movies, and the whole lot of entertainment industry are just reinforcing these gender roles. So I would like to request all these people who are involved in this industry to rethink about the themes that you make, and also to spread the message of gender equality, because you have a lot of social responsibility. And one thing I want to make very clear is I don't have anything against men, and I'm telling all this with due respect to all the men who have taken excellent care of their families. And I also don't want to miss the opportunity to thank Mr. Sanjay Pathak, a teacher from rural Bihar, who has actually revolutionized girls' sports. Mr. Farhan Akhtar for kicking off a campaign called Mard, that is Men Against Rape and Discrimination, where he urges men to drop off their ego and to treat women equally. And also various other men who have actually fought for women's rights, about whom I'm actually unaware of. And I would wish that more and more male celebrities would come up with such campaigns, because anything from celebrities will have a very powerful impact. All we need is the respect for what we do and for what we are, and the freedom to be on our own, the support to realize our dreams, and our share of safe public space, but not protection or sympathy. What needs to be really understood is with education, women are getting transformed psychologically, completely. So if men refuse to accept them equally and also to let go of the privileges that they've been enjoying all these days, there's going to be a lot of chaos, and the social fabric will definitely get disturbed. So let's redefine womanhood and masculinity as well. Thank you.